the Rock 1, ATR2, Ppo Extreme for the NYA. It was adapted from the S&P 500 and first shown to me by Arthur Hill. So like it reads up here, many thanks to Arthur for thinking this one up. So it adapted well from the S&P 500 concerning the Rock 1. The ATR2 gets a little wild when it gets above the pain threshold here, this red line. So I've finally come up with some levels that I more than likely won't change anymore. So the pain threshold is at 312.64 and the Rock 1 pain threshold is at -2. And you can see this past Friday that the pain threshold was almost hit from the Rock 1 here. It might have intraday. I wasn't keeping tabs on it, so that's some extreme volatility there and some extreme pain too. And the Ppo Extreme took a tick down to 3.64%, so that puts it chasing the Ppo level 5 back up to 2.99. And the verbiage here is self-explanatory for explaining these two ATR2 Rock 1, so you can pause and study that. And the Ppo Extreme back then, from this period, July 22 up to about the end of 2022, was the most hated bull market in history. You can see the Ppo steadily declining towards zero, but yet price for the NYA and the SPX looks the same, was steadily marching onwards and upwards until the music stopped here. And it somewhat looks just like that starting here in March or April 24 to present day. You can see price, I don't have an arrow there anymore, upwards trajectory, Ppo Extreme down. And that was one heck of a knee-jerk reaction to Powell's and company's inability to cut rates. And I was firmly planted in that camp and very disappointing. So now he goes from possibly having the chance to stay ahead of the curve to now chasing the curve, so he'll be scrambling to avoid a hard landing now. And all their Fed speak is very nonchalant about everything, but guaranteed inside they're sweating bullets. You know, this divergence can go on for a long time, as we can see here. So it's been going on for a while, but there could still be more upside to this, believe it or not. And I don't know about much sooner, but definitely not much later. So we'll have to monitor this. Let's take a look at the bullish side of divergences, which is the bottom part, like with this red arrow here. And bullish meaning looking at the New York AD line, and you can see until it gets under this low right here that it's still in an upwards trajectory. So if this breaks down below this, I don't know what it is, looks like about 230 or so, we have to give it the benefit of the doubt for more upside eventually. So you can see price does not concur with the AD line, and the AD line holds precedence pretty much over everything we're about to look at. And the MACD line and histogram do not concur with the AD line either. You can see the downwards trajectory in both the MACD line and histogram, better seen in the thumbnail here. And the short-term KST, as seen in the thumbnail, did make it up above its falling signal line, which made it a heck of a lot easier to do that in, is now ticked lower, still above zero a little bit, and again, like the AD line, it would need to get below this low and continue moving down further to be extremely worrisome. RSI cracked below 50, that's never a good sign, but as long as it stays around the 40 to 50 and gets a bounce up, that's called a mean reversion bounce. So let's see if it can hold 40, and the ultimate oscillator agrees with the AD line. This is a very good sign here, definitely pointed up for now and even had a little tick up. And the commodity channel index is almost below negative 100, and the on-balance volume has an upwards trajectory along with the AD line. And every day I like this commodity channel index more and more, and even when it's paired with the Williams percent R, it's even more enlightening. So let's look at a couple of these that have a downwards spike with a colored area here that are spaced apart nicely. So let's just look at these two. I'm going to put a vertical line right here, and then we'll scroll up and look and see what price was doing. So you can see that was a pretty good warning of that humongous dip down right here. And now let's take a look at this one. I already moved it over there. And we'll go up there. So yeah, that was a nice warning too. And then back off to the races. Let's take one last look at this middle dip here. So they were becoming more frequent here. And we'll scroll up. And you can see it was already in the throes of a downdraft here from the other one right before it, and then there was another one after it. And now I moved it to the second dip right here, so there was one here, and then it had a move up, so I put it right there. Now let's go look at that. So that was a good indication of a bottom there, and then definitely off to the races. So I'm beginning to like that CCI more and more every day. And I suppose why I like it is a contrarian indicator, so I really like those.